The Venus de Milo has been considered a masterpiece since its discovery. It's a piece lost in time and shrouded in mystery. It's also a piece that, despite being made thousands of years ago, still is a representation of beauty and is referenced constantly in the modern world. It stands at about 6 feet and 6 inches, towering over almost any human in looking at it. It's known for its elegance, its grace. As the art critic Jonathan Jones said, beautiful but broken. After being uncovered, the statue was taken to replace a different statue from Italy, the Medici Venus that was bought by Napoleon for the Louvre. The Venus de Milo was discovered by a farmer in 1820 on the Agon island called Milos or Milos, while removing stones from a niche. Hence the name Venus de Milo. This location ended up being a gymnasium, where the statue is thought to have been dedicated to Hermes and or Heracles. This is because of an inscription found above the statue that was later thrown out by the Louvre. A lot of information is lost to the Louvre. Pieces of the statue, including a stone plinth that states that the statue is made by Alexandros of Antioch, was also thrown out. The reasoning behind this was based on the assumption of when the statue was made, years before the founding of Antioch. Summed up, it looked as though it was made in a style that was about 200 years before Antioch's founding. However, the statue looks as though it has a bit of a different time period within it. From innovations from the Hellenistic period, such as the soft S-curve of the torso or the way her robe drapes gently across the slightly bent knee, but also 5th century grace and aesthetic. Although even modern artists like to mimic styles of the past. Because of this, they named Praxiteles as the creator. Praxiteles was one of the most famous 4th century sculptors and was from Greece. However, this theory didn't fit well with the previously mentioned inscription stating that it was made by Alexandros. The only reason we know of the inscription stating Alexandros as his true creator is from Comte de Clairac, who wrote a paper based on his study of the statue. Despite this paper being ignored by the French, it was praised by Germany, who believed that they had a claim over the statue. This is a messy situation that I won't get into. However, the Crown Prince Ludwig I of Bavaria then declared Alexandros as the creator. It's still debated, however, who the true creator is. It's also unknown which goddess this sculpture truly is of. The most agreed upon conclusion is Aphrodite or Venus. However, the sea goddess Amphitrite was heavily worshipped on the island of Milos, making her a strong contender. The process of this sculpture matched most classical sculpture techniques. Vertical wooden planks would be used in order to hold limbs onto the 2 blocks of material that made up the torso. From there, jewelry was added to the sculpture. While the jewelry is missing today, holes in the body indicate where these pieces would have been. This statue follows the more life-filled style of classical work. It uses contrapposto, where the artist gives a slight S-curve to the spine. This is done by having her gently lift her foot, shifting her weight, and her knee bending just enough to cause the drapery to flow over it. Her torso is turned towards the viewer. She's asymmetrical. 2 blocks of marble were used to create the main torso, with extra blocks for the limbs. Expensive materials like gold or precious stone were needed in order to decorate her jewelry. It's even hypothesized that she might have been painted with many colors to add on to her lifelike appearance. While so little seems to be known about her, we also can gather so much. She's elegant. She's the definition of femininity by her time's standards and today's. That can either be the cause or the effect of its general consensus of the statue being Aphrodite. Aphrodite defined beauty in her time, much like her statue does now. She is considered a symbol of beauty, therefore she cannot be really considered anybody else. And while some scholars believe it is more obviously of a goddess that the people of Milos would have worshipped, Amphitrite, or even possibly a prostitute or some other goddess like Demeter, she will forever be seen as Aphrodite or Venus. Her impact on the idea of beauty was far too large. One piece of evidence of this was also thrown out by the Louvre, a hand found just beside the sculpture in its original location that held a small apple. This apple is thought to be in reference to the Judgment of Paris, where one man is asked to pick which goddess is the fairest. He is bribed by each of the 3 main goddesses, Hera, promising him political power, Athena, wisdom and skill, and Aphrodite, the love of his life, Helen. Because of its location in the gymnasium where men would often train, it can be concluded that these men were also asked to consider their life to this question: power, success, or love.